we are very happy to welcome you all to this conference hosted by the project Business Models Empowering Rural Social Enterprises, Voicing the Rural Norm. And this is a project funded by Interreg program and the Northern Peripheral and Arctic area program, and also by the regions of Jämtland, Härjedalen, and the region of Västernorrland in Sweden. So it's really fun to see that we are almost 100 participants in this conference today. And we come from very many different organizations and countries. We are recording this conference today, and I hope that you can see what I'm sharing.
Yes.
Yeah, good. Yeah. So the conference, we are in the project called MERSE in short. We are 18 partners, and we come from municipalities, regions, social enterprises, support organizations, and universities in the 5 countries of Finland, Iceland, Ireland, Norway, and Sweden. And the purpose of the project is to make it easier to start and develop social enterprises in rural areas in the Northern Peripheral and Arctic areas. What are we doing? We are working in 3 work packages, and the project runs from 2023 to 2026. And the first work package we're going to talk about today a little bit more, because we're going to present the mapping we have done of the conditions for social enterprises in the 5 countries in the Northern Peripheral and Arctic rural areas. The second work package we have already started with in the beginning of 2024. And in this work package, we are working with the transfer of the knowledge that we have gathered in the work package 1. And we are going to we are working with transferring and developing better adapted business models, support structures and conditions for social enterprises, and also to enhance the knowledge and learning of social enterprises. We will also, in this work package 2 and 3, work with networks to better connect social enterprises with support structures in the northern part of Europe. And in the end of the project, we will present a roadmap for social enterprises, the support organizations for social enterprises and policymakers in order to make it easier for people and start and develop social enterprises in the Northern Peripheral and Arctic rural areas. So today's agenda is rather tight and intense one. It's 2 hours, and during those 2 hours, we will be able to take part of some interesting speakers, and also the results from the mapping of conditions that we've done. And we will also be able, all of us, to work together in breakout rooms. So first, we're going to listen to Lucas Olmedo from University of Almería in Spain. And then we're going to present the conditions, the mapping we have done in the 5 countries. And then we have a short break about 10, 11. And then we're going to listen to Tiia Muotkavaara, that runs a social enterprise in the northern part of Finland. And after that, a representative from the support organizations in the project, ARVO in Finland, and it's Poikulainen. And then we are going to listen to the municipality perspective, and it's Jon Söder from Östersund Municipality that's going to present their perspective on how they work with social enterprises. And then we work in breakout rooms and divide you by countries. And then we meet again, and then we end this conference. So all very, very welcome. And as you can see in the program, you will be able to discuss and also make your own suggestions during the breakout rooms. And you can also send questions in the chat, and we will try to answer it during this conference, and if not now, after the conference. So warm welcome to you all to this 2-hour conference on how to make it easier to start and develop sustainable social enterprises in rural areas. And our first speaker for today, it's Lucas Olmedo, and he holds a PhD on community-based social enterprises and the role as neo-endogenous rural development actors. Please welcome Lucas.
Hi, Yvonne. Hi, everyone. Well, first of all, thank you for having me here today and to listen and to share my experience with all of you in this very, very interesting project. So, funnily enough, I'm in the University of Almería, which is the southern east part of Europe now. I'm here since 3 months, but I have spent 7 years working in University College Cork in Ireland, where I developed all the research that I will present today. And also I live a couple of years in Sweden, so I'm a bit familiar with the context of this project, not Iceland and Finland, but so I will share my screen as time is tight and go directly to the presentation, if okay with you, Yvonne.
Yeah. Thank you.
So yeah, I hope you can see, and I will just check
Yeah.
if I pass, can you see the slides passing?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So I will talk to you in the next 10 minutes about rurality and social enterprises. Basically, I start my talk from the growing interest as this project is showing on both from the research part, but also from the policy and of course from practice on the interlink between the context, rurality, and social enterprises. In research, we can see different studies from the maybe 15, 20 years ago on the link of this rurality domain with the social enterprise domain and the importance of context. But in policy, we also see both at European level this mix between the social solidarity economy and sustainable rural development in texts reports such as the long-term vision for rural areas, which is interlinked with the social economy action plan at the European level. And in Ireland, that is the focus of my research and the last 7-8 years, as I said, we can see in different national policies how they interlink rural development issues with social enterprises in general. We can see our rural future for the Irish who are over here, the rural development policy, and it mentions specifically some measures on social enterprises and both, especially the last social enterprise policy that was developed, launched last summer in 2024, specifically mentioned rural issues and rural measures of social enterprises. So we can see the connection of that. From a bit more theoretical perspective, and I will not stop too much over here, I developed in my PhD a conceptual framework to study social enterprises in rural areas, basically. So my proposal is basically that for starting this kind of organization, we need to focus on different forms of economic integration that includes the market, but goes beyond that. So includes redistribution and reciprocity. I will not stop there, but we also need to mix this with questions of spatial scale, place, embeddedness, and others, okay? As I said, I will not stop here, but this is the theoretical framework used for developing these next two qualitative research that I will present very briefly. So the first one tries to answer a question that is about how rural social enterprises engage in these different socioeconomic relations and with different dimensions of their places where they are based, where they operate, in order to contribute to this kind of sustainable integrated development. So for that, I developed 3 case studies and conducted over 50 interviews, both with internal and external stakeholders of the social enterprises, conducted participant observation over 15 months with 400 pages of field notes and reviewed some documents of the social enterprises, regional development plan, etc. Very, very briefly, all of this information and analysis leads to a conclusion that these social enterprises act as social innovative actors in order to develop this kind of neo-endogenous rural development, which is basically mixing the internal or local resources with external relations, external resources in order to contribute to development. And they do it through a process that I call glacial substantive hybridity. And this is basically a mix of their glacial embeddedness, which they use 4 mechanisms to do that. One is harnessing locational aspects to create local market relations. The second one is navigating different regional frameworks to enhance institutional connectivity with regional development actors, with public institutions, etc. The third one is about revalorizing existing underutilized material settings for communal benefits. For example, using derelict buildings, etc., for community centers and these kind of things. The fourth one is about leveraging individual attachment and enhancing a collective sense of belonging in order to foster collective action. So having this kind of community planning, community gatherings in order to foster this kind of collectivity. And the fourth mechanism is about engaging in different socioeconomic relationships to develop this substantive hybridity. And this second part we further investigate in the other qualitative research that I wanted to show you today. And this is a comparative study between Ireland and Finland. So we had 2 case studies in Finland, 2 rural communities with social enterprises, and 2 rural communities in Ireland. We also developed over 40 interviews, and we arrived to the conclusion that community-based social enterprises in these 4 locations were important support structures as enablers and supporters of local market relationships, but also they channel redistribution, so they gather resources from public institutions, but also put the concerns of the community into municipalities, into regional authorities, etc. And finally, they were support structure as coordinators of local reciprocity. So basically, they were this central structure of different rural communities that they managed to exchange between different organizations, goods, services, etc. So all in all, the summary is that they were important contributors to the institutional thickness of rural areas, rural communities and localities, but they were very context dependent in the sense that we saw different between Irish and rural Finnish communities, depending on the historical background, the role of the municipality, also the location, if they were more remote or less, these kind of things. And this leads me to develop some kind of quantitative research also to complement all this qualitative knowledge that we acquired in the last years. And this in the last 2 years, I developed a postdoc based on figures, on numbers. So in 2022, we collected for the government of Ireland, we developed a baseline data collection process in which we had information of over 4,000 social enterprises in Ireland. So I conducted some kind of exploratory statistical and spatial analysis to these surveys and this information that we gathered, this list of social enterprises. So basically, you can see over here a map of the social enterprises in Ireland. So these are more than 4,000 social enterprises, as I said, all over the country, the Republic of Ireland. But what I did is I passed an analysis through using a rural-urban typology that is developed by the Central Statistics Office in Ireland. So they split the country into 6 different types of areas, rural and urban, from highly rural regions to city, depending on the demography, but also in the type of work where people work and how far away are services. And this is done at very, very small geographical locations. So it's 18,500 small areas, which is divided the territory of the Republic of Ireland. So it's very fine grained. So what I did, I will go very, very quickly through some of the analysis that I conducted. This is a very descriptive map where I mapped the social enterprises geolocalized against these 6-tier urban and rural typology. And you can see here more or less a heat map of where social enterprises are located. So you can see that a lot are in cities, but also a lot are in highly rural remote areas in the north of Ireland, in Donegal, but also in County Mayo, in Kerry over there. So it's a mix. And this crossing the ratio of social enterprises per 10,000 inhabitants by the number of social enterprises, we can see that social enterprises are more predominant in rural areas rather than in urban settings in Ireland, in the Republic of Ireland. But if you see the 6 different types of rural-urban areas, you can see that this is much more predominant in highly rural remote areas. There is 21 social enterprises per 10,000 inhabitants, whereas in rural areas with moderate is 10, and in rural areas with high urban influence is only 6. So you can see a bit of the nuance of these social enterprises where they are located according to the typology of rural-urban settings. I also conducted a cross-analysis between the deprivation. So I use POVAL for those who are familiar with Ireland. POVAL is a deprivation index. It's well used in Ireland. So I wanted to investigate if social enterprises really were operating in more deprived areas or not. As you can see in the column on the right-hand side, they usually tend to operate in more deprived areas in all the different rural typology, basically. And finally,
left, Lucas. 2 minutes.
2 minutes. Okay, that's great. So I also cross the type of activities that social enterprises develop with the different rural and urban typologies. So you can see that rural social enterprises are more focused on community and local development, and urban social enterprises are a bit more focused on health, job services, training, work integration, housing, and other kind. I conducted some kind of hypothesis that I will not stop now for the sake of time. And the last analysis was about employment size and income. So you can see there how, unsurprisingly, those social enterprises in rural areas are smaller, basically. In terms of gender, is similar across the workforce, and in terms of age, they have more aging population and more aging staff, basically. And the same for income generation. So rural social enterprises tend to be smaller in terms of being. So the conclusions are the following, and I will finish with that. There is a growing and increasing evidence from research and study that there is distinctive features and mechanisms used by social enterprises in rural areas. So social enterprises, community-based, that is more the focus of my study, are relevant actors for sustainable, integrated, and endogenous rural development. However, they need this enabling institutional or structural context in order to flourish and develop. So they are not a panacea, you are not a panacea, but one of the myriad of actors that contribute to this kind of development. So our proposal to the government is that they are, rather than a substitute of the state, private sector, they work well as a social innovative partner. So we need this kind of context and spatially sensitive policy and research approach. And just to finish, so all this research that I presented, it has had an impact on policy. So we developed this kind of first report for the Irish government in 2020 about the role of Irish policy in unlocking the potential of social enterprises. We developed a second policy recommendation from this spatial analysis, and this all has been reflected, or part of that has been reflected in a new national social enterprise policy that was developed launched in Ireland in 2024. And it has a rural proofing of some of these stats and some of this knowledge that we have developed in UCC over the years. So that's it. Thank you for your attention, and I hope I have stick to the time. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Lucas. As we will show in a little while, it's very important to continue with this kind of studies. And Lucas is one of the few researchers that are doing research in rural areas about social enterprising and social entrepreneurs in rural areas. And this is something that is very important to show that there are little research, but also that there are research in this area. So what we will go over to now is to present the results from the mapping we did together in this project. And it's the mapping of conditions for rural social enterprises in Finland, Iceland, Ireland, Norway, and Sweden. And Lucas, you did research in comparing Finland and Ireland. And we have been studying all 5 countries participating in this project. So what we can see in a little while is that we support your research with our results as well. So the first thing that we are going to discuss is what are we studying? In this project, it's social enterprises. And who are those social enterprises? We have leaned on the European Commission's definition of social enterprise. And that is social enterprise are those who are social or societal objective of a common good. And this is the reason for the commercial activity in the enterprise. And it's often in form of high level of social innovation. And social enterprises are also those who make perhaps sometimes profits. And if they make profits, the profits are mainly reinvested to achieve these social objectives. And social enterprises use methods in the organization or in the ownership that reflects the enterprise mission. And they use democratic and participatory principles or focusing on social justice. So this is what we are researching in, or we have made studies in the project. And what we're going to present now, myself and also my colleague, Cecilia Dahlborg, who also worked with in Mid Sweden University with research on social enterprises. But I will underpin that we have conducted the studies together with all partners in the project. First, the method we have used is that we have reviewed the report that was produced by European Union in 2020 to have a base for our studies to see what's done already. And then we have looked at the ecosystems surrounding the social enterprises in the 5 countries participating in the project. And then we have made a literature review and ended up in 119 articles that we have read, all of them, and also made some conclusions of. We have also performed a survey to 395 social enterprises with 25% response rate. And a survey we have sent out to 403 support organizations with 15% response rate. All those are in the 5 countries participating in the study, in the project. And we also perform interviews with 13 municipalities in those 5 countries or decision makers. So we're going to present some results from those studies. And the first one is briefly, we're going to talk a little bit about the social enterprise ecosystem and from the report performed or conducted by European Union in 2020. And in the social enterprise, there are a lot of different factors affecting social enterprise performance and also the development of social enterprise. And this is policies and strategies, of course, it's key actors in the area, in the local area often, and it's research and education and also the possibilities to develop skills, public procurement possibilities, also the possibilities to be engaged in networks and support mechanisms, and also financing, of course. And what we have discovered is that there are similarities, but that are also a lot of differences between the 5 countries. And the thing that is similar to all countries is that it is unreliable data on the number of social enterprises in the countries. And it's a heterogeneous group of businesses that we talk about when we talk about social enterprises. The similarities is also that networks exist for social enterprises in all the countries, most local networks. But also that it lacks financial support structure for social enterprises. That is common for all the 5 countries. However, the 5 countries in the Northern Peripheral and Arctic areas that we have studied have progressed differently in the area of social enterprises and the support to social enterprises. So we are going to present some results, as I said, from those studies. And yes.
Yeah. And this was the reason why we wanted to learn more about what is done in the area. So we started after had made this investigation of the ecosystem to do a literature review of previous research in these 5 countries. We used keywords as social enterprises, social businesses, social entrepreneurship and social entrepreneurs, but also we used the keywords community-based entrepreneurship and also social enterprises in rural areas. When we did so, we got this 119 different articles, and what we could see over time that we have had a boom in research between 2017 and 2021. Most studies are done in Sweden, is the yellow one, but most recent research is done in Ireland. Among other researchers, Lucas Olmedo have done a lot of work in these areas the last years. If we look at the rural context, we have Ireland and Norway researchers from those countries that have done rural studies. And what is this research about then? Well, a lot of articles have studied characteristics and determinants for social entrepreneurship, social enterprises. What is a social enterprise and questions like that. They have also studied community-based entrepreneurship, ecosystem, and social impact and regional development. But what they didn't highlight was especially, or not so many as well, social enterprises in rural areas. We lack some knowledge. We want to know more about prerequisites for social entrepreneurship in rural areas. Could we find some best practice? Which business models do they use? And do they do impact measurements? That was a question that we wanted to have answer on. And that was also the main reason why we did this survey to social enterprises. This year in spring, we sent out 395 questionnaires to social enterprises in the 5 different countries. We had a response rate for 24%. As we have learned before, as Yvonne said, and also Lucas, it is that these social enterprises operate in very different and various areas. It's about the local community, but you, children, elderly people, and so that are beneficiaries or target groups. The majority of the business are more than 10 years old. Those have answered our questionnaire. The median age of business owners are 52 years old. And as Lucas also showed, it's a lot of women in this area, and it's differ from entrepreneurship in tradition. 72% of the respondents in our study was women. And another thing that is different from traditional enterprises is that social enterprises often have employees. The median of employees in this enterprises is five employees. And the majority is still small. They have turnover less than 100,000 or 500,000 euro. They struggle with profitability, but if they have profit in their businesses, they reinvest the money in the company. The rural location affect the majority of the business in a high way, in a high extent. Just Norway do say that they are not so affected of the rural areas. One important part of who is a social enterprises is about the finance and the primary source of financing. And this picture have a lot of information, but if we look here, we have 3 different things that we compare: public grants, public procurement, and trading as the primary sources of financing. What we could see is that some social enterprises finance their enterprises with public grants. Not so common is it with public procurement, and about 1/4 have in a high extent trading as a source of financing. Obstacles, we are interested to know more about that. We asked a lot of things if that was an obstacle for them, and they have answered in a scale from to a very low extent to a very high extent. And as we have heard before, insufficient funding is a high problem or obstacles for these entrepreneurs or business operators. It's also difficult to create visibility in social enterprises, and it's difficult to show the value that the enterprises have, and also difficult to reach relevant markets. Some country differences, because that is what we are especially interested in. Insufficient public funding, yes. The majority, almost everyone, say that this is a big obstacle in the companies. Reach relevant markets. Here we could see yes and no. In Ireland, those enterprises that are operating there, they say the majority says no, but in Finland, in a high degree, they have answered yes. This question is create visibility and awareness an obstacle for social enterprises in these 5 countries. Yes and no. As you see, the red staple here is if it is a high or very high obstacles, and the green one is no. So in Norway and Ireland, they don't have so much trouble to show visibilities, but Sweden, Finland, and Iceland say that they have problem with create visibility. Another question was about social impact measurement. We asked the entrepreneurs if they did have some measuring of social value in their companies. And just one country is here outstanding, and it's Ireland, because they in a high degree did do social value measurement, but not in the other countries. Then we also asked about significant received support, and this differ, of course, between the companies. Networking with other businesses, that was the biggest support that they have got. Also support from the local community. Those who had public funding, they were very satisfied with this support. And some of the companies also highlighted that certify as the social enterprises had helped them. Just very, very quickly, country differences. First, public financial support. Yes, Iceland, Sweden, and Ireland. No, Norway and Finland. Business support organization, have they been important to the companies? No, the most of these social enterprises said no, especially in Finland and Sweden, and some in Norway and Iceland thought that this was a significant received support. The municipality favoring social enterprises in the tenders, no, Sweden, Finland, and Ireland. Networking and collaboration with other businesses, yes, all of the businesses. Most of the majority said yes, networking and collaboration is a very important support. And possibilities to certify as a social enterprises, some differences between the countries here. Support from the local community, yes. Then we asked a question about what support did you wanted, but don't you had got what you hoped for, but were not there. And the majority says public financial support. That's the biggest support that they had hoped for. And also that the municipality should favoring them in their tenders. And we couldn't see any significant differences between the countries here. I think the time is almost at the end, but we just show some short picture of survey to support organizations. We also sent out a lot of questionnaires to support organization in the 5 countries, 405. Very low response rates, is it? Most of the company are very familiar with social enterprises, they say. But what we also could see is that very, very few do support social enterprises. 61 of those who answer the questionnaires do not support these companies at all. Could it give the same support to rural and urban companies? Yes, in some country, but no in Iceland at all. And also they know what they ask for. It's about founding and general advice and economy. That's the big thing that they ask for help with. If we should take some summary, then we have this. Social enterprises operate in many different industry and areas. Most municipalities have good knowledge of social enterprises. Only municipalities in Ireland and one in Sweden has developed strategies for social enterprises. Irish municipalities support social enterprises to the greatest extent, and public procurement is used in Ireland, Finland, and Sweden. It is difficult to measure the value, but it's done above all in Ireland, but also in Finland. And Irish and Finnish municipalities are the ones who measure value. And finally, the municipalities believe that social enterprises play an important and central role in the development of municipalities and countries, particularly in rural areas. Yeah, Yvonne, do you want to take over?
Yeah, we can also see, we agree with Lucas' research that the rural environment affects to a large extent the possibilities for social enterprises, and that it is difficult to get profitability in social enterprises in those countries. The vast majority reinvest in their business if they have any surplus profit. But few stated that they had trading as a part of their business activities, which we perceive as important to be able to be sustainable social enterprise. It's a lot of similarities, but also differences, as we have said. And Ireland, we can see that they are far ahead in terms of research, but also Iceland, we can see that Iceland is a young but emerging field, social enterprises. It still lacks knowledge about social enterprises, and especially in rural areas, and what benefits they create, and how to measure and show the benefits. And that we can also see that support organizations have knowledge about social enterprises, but they do not support them in general. And municipalities, the knowledge is there, but they lack policies and strategies in the municipality work. So the conclusion is that social enterprises are important enablers in rural areas, but they struggle with the economy and need to be more recognized. Yeah. So that's and please have a look at our website to learn more about this, and also see our best practice examples from the 5 countries. And we're also going to publish more reports and results from what we are doing in the project. Yeah. And now we are a little late, but we take 7 minutes break. So we meet here again 10 to 11 Central European time. Please do what you want for 7 minutes, and we meet again. And thank you so far for listening. Welcome back to this short conference. I'm sorry I have to have tempo, but next time we have more time together, we will today. But now we are going to listen to some interesting input and hear what they are saying about how they experience social entrepreneurship in their as a social enterprise themselves, or as a support organization for social enterprises, or as a municipality involved or supporting social enterprises, or how they work with social enterprises. So first, I would like to introduce one of the social enterprises that are involved in the leadership program for social facilitators that we are running within the project MERSE. And Tiia Muotkavaara, she's running a social enterprise together with her husband in the very northern part of Finland, in Lapland. And I don't dare to pronounce the name of your social enterprise. So please, Tiia, uh, um, where are you?
Here I am.
There you are. Yeah,
Oh, I
welcome,
forgot to check
Tiia.
my hair before this. Sorry. Yeah, hi.
Welcome, Tiia.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you for inviting me. It's Pohjoisesta luonnosta in Finnish, and it translates to of northern nature. And I would like to share my screen here. I hope you can see it soon. No?
Yeah.
Can you see it? Yeah,
Yes.
good. So I'll tell you a little bit about our company. We learned at this leadership program that you should always start with why. And uh, what we do is because the nature of Lapland is threatened by quite many factors, mining, tourism, climate exchange, and all kinds of stuff. And the raw materials of Lapland's nature have been marketed as sustainable, domestic, and ethical alternatives, even though their harvesting has involved labor flown in from the other side of the world. They bring people from Thailand, for example, and then they treat the workers really bad, even that bad that there has been some criminal cases against the people who are running this kind of businesses about violating human rights. And of course, we have quite many problems in Finland and in Lapland with the nature, but the existence of significant problems like the mining business, it doesn't mean that we shouldn't try to change the things that we can change or try to do things differently. And that is why for the past 2 years, we have been purchasing raw materials like berries, herbs, and mushrooms from local pickers living in Lapland. And we pay our pickers really well. We pay the fair price for the materials, and we buy them and sell them to businesses and individuals, mostly for small businesses. And we train our pickers in the principles of sustainable harvesting. And our client companies also get to use the pickers' stories in their marketing. Like there might be some 80 years old pensioner who tells that, yes, I've been living in Lapland my whole life and been picking berries since I was a child and so on. So they get this story of the picker to use in their marketing. And in addition to this raw material trading, we offer regenerative tourism services in rural areas such as Pelkosenniemi and Sodankylä. And we also train nature sector professionals through lectures and courses. And yes, we have a family business in Pelkosenniemi, and I'll show you a map in a couple of minutes. And yeah, I read, do crafts, writing, and mushrooms. I've been knitting a sock here in this time I've been listening. And I teach nature professionals at the Vocational College of Lapland in Muonia and have a professional and specialized vocational qualification in natural sciences. And I'm also an animal welfare activist in Animal Welfare Finland. And I am trying to work there to bring together hunters and animal welfare activists. And this is like something I do on my free time because it's a really important thing for me, like ethical hunting and things like this. My husband Mika is Inari Sami and lives the old way of life to the full as far as possible. He stays in the forest all year long, hunting and fishing, and still works as a mechanic, but has also worked for a long time in nature and tourism sector. And we are doing our part to preserve the Inari Sami culture heritage, not only in our way of life, but also in language recovery. And our we have a son, 2 years old, and we try to bring the language to him too, because it's quite a discussion now in Finland if you are Sami at all, if you can't speak the language. And when possible, we donate money to all kinds of associations that do some kind of, in our opinion, good work. We also cooperate with the Finnish Game Foundation, and when we get money from that, that goes to the wetland restoration for birds. So we do a huge amount of good things also in our free time. That's my husband and I with the snowmobile in Sodankylä. So the challenges, they are all kind of things that you already talked about. With the trading thing, the biggest problem is that we are having hard time finding customers that are willing to pay for the pickers more than the companies are used to. Because if you get like 1 kilogram of bilberry with under 2 euros, like €1.30 or something like that, from a Thailandese berry picker, and then you have to pay like 10 euros per kilogram for a Finnish person to do that work, it's a huge difference. And just like yesterday, I was speaking with one company that wanted to buy 10,000 kilograms of bilberry and 8,000 kilograms of lingonberry. And I counted the prices and so on. And even after I had counted everything and put it so low as possible so that we still would be able to pay our pickers the same price they are used to. Even after that, they told me that the price should be like half less than what it was. So I didn't get that deal. Also, the overall resistance for doing things differently, also in nature-based businesses, they don't like it that we sell the materials more expensive because they think that it's going to higher the prices for their materials that they need. Of course, that is what it does, but that is also how it should be. Yeah. And also the infrastructure, because everything is at least 100 kilometers away. I'll show you where we are. So we are here in Pelkosenniemi. So it's not that up in Lapland or that north in Lapland, but it's still Lapland. Here's Rovaniemi. So we have like, I think, 120 kilometers to Rovaniemi. And we operate from Inari, that is up here, to Rovaniemi. So we have a huge area where we work. And then also the lack of support, both financial, but also like if we would want to like have some coaching or something like that for our company, it's really difficult already because of the the distances, but also because I am one of the most qualified persons in Finland to do this kind of thing and to be like an expert in nature sciences. There aren't many people that would be good enough for us to be like coaching us because at least not in when it concerns the nature things, but maybe in company wise it would be okay. Yeah. The possibilities. We have nature raw materials that are always limited edition. We have quite short summers and long winters, so there's only like 2 to 3 months altogether time to pick up the materials that we need from the nature. And the Laplandish materials are researched to be more full of nutrients than anything you can cultivate. Or if you compare the wild bilberry to the cultivated blueberry, they are like two different berries. You can't even compare the nutrients that they have. Then we have people in rural areas that are willing to work, who know their environment and can tell the difference between edible and non-edible plants, berries, and mushrooms. So you don't even really have to train them that much to do that. And when we pay the fair price for the pickers, we can offer income for people who otherwise wouldn't have the possibility to make their own income, or even when you think about it, like more income, because we have, for example, reindeer herders that only have they get money from the reindeers only a small part of the year, but during summer they would have the time to pick the raw materials and they could make some income of it so that they wouldn't have to work somewhere else. Yeah, and also the high-end quality of life for pensioner youngsters and seasonal workers that live here but who don't work that much or only work part-time. And this could also result to that the young people wouldn't move to bigger cities and the rural areas would stay inhabited if we could make this work. Then the goals in 10 years, we want to be the biggest employer in Lapland in the industry of nature-based businesses. The idea is not that we do the same things for the next 10 years, but the idea is that when we get our ideas to work, we can pass them on, maybe sell them, or at least have some employees who run the show. So we wouldn't do everything by ourselves, but we would also offer work for the people who live here. Also other work than just the picking stuff. And then we could like start something new or try some new ideas. And this way we can impact not only the individuals, but also the whole industry in nature-based businesses.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Tiia. Very interesting and an important work that you are doing. Yeah, but
Thanks.
also some challenges. Thank you so much for sharing this with us. And this is an example of one of the social enterprises. And now you talked a little bit about the support and the distance to the support that you have, Tiia. So let us go directly over to Poikulainen from the organization of ARVO, the Finnish Association of Social Enterprises in Finland. And she works with she is a development manager at ARVO, and her area of expertise is in the development of member services. So thank you, Tiia, and welcome, Ia.
Yes, hi. Sorry, I'm trying to share my screen, but I'm not sure if I should share my whole screen. No, not this one, but this one. Okay, can you see my screen now?
No.
Okay. And let's try again. Share my, okay, maybe this one now. Okay, can you see it now?
Yes.
Yes. Sorry, I haven't used Zoom a lot, so this is always a challenge for me. Okay, so Cecilia and Tiia presented some of the obstacles and possibilities, and I promised to tell you how we are trying to help social enterprises. So my name is Poikulainen, and I come from ARVO, the Finnish Association of Social Enterprises. And as you might notice, ARVO is not an abbreviation from our name, but it means value in Finnish. So first, a little bit about ARVO. ARVO was founded in 2014 by 10 social enterprises. And now, 10 years later, we have around 75 member companies. And our mission is to help social enterprises to succeed. We have 3 member categories, which are full members that are social enterprises. Then we have organizational members that are organizations that own social enterprises. And then we have supportive members that can be any organizations that want to support our cause. And what we are doing, we are advocating social enterprises, we are offering a place for networking, and we also gather information. And at the next slide, I will show you a little bit more of our work. So we actively try to communicate with decision makers on social business issues, and we produce information to support decision making. And we offer our customers or our members a place to collaborate. And this we do by organizing different kind of events and trainings. We also offer personal advice and coaching. For example, if an organization needs help with their impact communication. We also take parts on projects that promote social entrepreneurship. And I have one example later, but first of all, I will show you what kind of how we have developed our services. So during this autumn, I have started to meet our members. This is something new that we haven't done before, but I held 13 member meetings, which of 7 were live meetings and 6 were via Teams. And this covered around 23% of our members. The main goal of these meetings was to find out what our members want from ARVO. So if there's, for example, something that they would need more, or also some operations that we could get rid of if they are not adding value to our members. And these results are used in the planning of next year. And for me, this has been really like eye-opening to hear really from our members what they need and what they want. So I'm continuing these meetings also next year. So I promised to give you one example of a project that we are in. So we are 3 employees in ARVO, and all of us use 50% of our time at the Center of Expertise for Social Enterprises. And this is a project that was established in 21. And at first there were 6 organizations, but now it extended as an European Social Fund coordination project. And now we have 11 organizations and around 50 people that work in the Center of Expertise. And the goal of the project is to implement and promote the national strategy for social enterprises. And now we are also renewing the strategy. And we work locally, nationally, and internationally also. So we try to network in all of the fields and places that are possible. So since we have 11 organizations, we also have a wide expertise. Here you can find some of the main themes of our project. We offer our services to businesses, communities, NGOs, foundations, education and research institutions, and public business services. So, for example, we help business advisors with specific issues related to social entrepreneurship, and we organize advisor trainings. And we give consultation to anyone planning on starting a business. And if necessary, this consultation is provided in cooperation with the advice services. We also have a mentor network concentrating on social entrepreneurship. And we have created this kind of roadmap for research, and we train new social entrepreneurship experts in education educational institutes. And one thing that we have also done is we have created this data page of social enterprises in Finland. This page is unfortunately only in Finnish, but I will send you the link afterwards, because I think that this is something that, even though you won't understand the language fully, you will get with Google Translator, you will get this kind of understanding of what it's about, but you can sort these companies by location, size, industry, and so on. And this is something that's really has been really important to us, because there's no legal frameworks or anything like that in Finland. So how to recognize these social enterprises? This is something that has been it's not an easy task, I would say.
2 minutes left.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh,
And
sorry.
actually, this is my last slide. I was really quick because I was worried that I'm going to spend more time than I had. So if you have any questions, please ask. And if you want, you can contact me via LinkedIn. My posts are mostly in Finnish, but still. So yeah, that's all I had for today. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Tiia Poikulainen. And it's interesting the work you are doing. And what would you say shortly? What is the biggest challenge you would say to support social enterprises?
I think in Finland, it's well, they are not very well recognized. I think one of the problems is because we don't have a legal framework. It's something, who is a social enterprise and who is not. So that's always a little bit difficult. And then also, I think the funding is not always very easy, especially if you are like an cooperative, or because there are some rules that don't work there. Then so.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I think that's the general for most
Yeah.
all the countries that we have been studying. Thank you so much again, Tiia. And there are, in fact, municipalities that work with social enterprises and try to support social enterprises in different manners. And one of those are Östersunds municipality. And we are now going to listen to the perspective from municipality of Östersund, and it's Jon Söder who's going to talk to us about this. And he works with civil society and social economy among a lot of other things in the municipality of Östersund. So please, the screen is yours, Jon.
Okay, social enterprises in Östersund municipality. We have 65,000 inhabitants, and it's the only city in the county of Jämtland, accounting with 130,000 inhabitants, and geographically it's slightly larger than Slovakia. And the municipality is the largest employer in the county, with about 5,000 people employed here. And tourism, events, sports, small, medium-sized businesses and industries are what is most common here in Östersund. There have been intention and policies for social enterprises in Östersund for a long time, back and forth. Östersund was a founder and member of an organization called REEVS, one of the founders, and it started here almost in the 90s. And it's an organization with mostly regions and support organizations in different parts of Europe's medium-sized cities in Europe. We have been it was popular to facilitate cooperative daycare in the 90s and different kinds of cooperatives. And the municipality has been part of different projects. And there was a policy document for social enterprises in 2016. However, that got old because the laws are changing very fast in this area. Have been doing that for a while, and its social enterprises are mentioned in the business strategy for Östersund municipality. It should foster innovation and cooperate with the NGO sector, and collaboration with social enterprises should lead to increased skill provision and reduce social exclusion. So it's not about everything social enterprises do. So what are the tools that we have? We also have grants, as was mentioned before. In Sweden, we have something IOP, and it has many different translations, but idea-based public partnerships or civil society public partnerships are describing it fairly well. So it's very important to show it's not a public procurement, that we're not buying it like we order it from someone. It's more based on trust than control, and it's flexible and it's learning. So when we're going to do something that we don't know really where we're going to end because it's a new era that we're starting to do something in, it's a very good tool to have. And actually the profit, if there is any profit, it should either be paid back to the municipality or the organization uses it to cooperate for a longer time. So it's a very good tool to use, and it's popular among the organizations that we use this tool with. And the logic is that we don't pay the organization to do something. It's more that we have found a challenge, and the challenge that the municipality see and that the organization see, we agree to that challenge, and we give our resources to the challenge. The organization, the social enterprise, they come with their knowledge, their maybe network. They have different tools. They have different laws that they abide to than we do, so they can do different things than we can. And we have the money or other resources, maybe a place to be or something. And then we have public procurement, us buying something. And then we have reserved contracts, which means only the social enterprises can participate in the procurement. We have some examples here. First example of an IOP with Hej Främling means hello stranger. They were the living room for young asylum seekers. It was between different integration laws. They changed very fast a couple of years ago, and so it's about health promoting and social activities, and then friends of the friends started to visit and take part in the activities, and it started with 14 asylum seekers, and now 6-7 years later they have about 400 visits every week, and it's about hanging out, health activities, works, and networking. And usually what is significant, they have more people in the fall, many more coming in the fall, and then they have less people coming in the spring. And I ask them, the people working there, why? And they say many of them, through the connections and through the network they have at Hej Främling, they get an extra job. So it's really a step into the job market coming there. And also some starting to have other activities because they get to know about other activities here. and we have another IOP with Rädda Barnen, Save the Children, called On Equal Terms. It's in Torvalla, a socio-economic vulnerable area here, and it's to compensate for the children growing up there. So they have activities in the longer school breaks, like in the summer, on the fall, and they have something called a breakfast club, where 2 times every week they have breakfast and activities to motivate the children to come to school and to, be awake, because many of the children have parents going to work early in the morning, so they have to wake up for themselves and get their breakfast and go to school. And the teachers actually told Save the Children that they have better school results now with many of the children coming there. And it's very important for Save the Children that they do the activities with the children and not for them. So the recreational hub is for getting the children to start their own activities and to form them, like plan an activity on a school break, for example. And the poster here is for activities in the fall break, and the schedule they have. And we have some reserved contracts, not that many. One is for work placement. When you're too far away to go to work or to start practicing, just to be at a workplace. And the first one that we had was from 22 to 24. 6 social enterprises, and Mid-Sweden University measured impact in that contract. And it has now continued with 8 social enterprises. It's together with second-hand shops, a cafe, cleaning, a dog daycare center. And then there's another research contract. It's to furnish and decorate apartments for refugees moving in to the municipality. The municipality has to take a number of refugees every year, and then the apartments need to be prepared. And it used to be that the staff in the municipality did this before, but now second-hand shops are doing it, and they have people work training there coming to do it, and they get to use more of, instead of buying new things, we use second-hand things, and it's actually made cheaper than before, than when we did it ourselves, and it's more sustainable, both for the ecology, for the municipality's economy, and also for work training. It's a really good idea. And I think that is really a key to succeed, that you have not, just replacing something the municipality is doing, but when you replace it, you also do it better. You get more out of it, and then it's easy to accept for people doing it, to doing the extra work that it means to prepare it. Challenges now, upscaling from where we are today. This is, as I mentioned before, the municipality is really huge with 5,000 people working here, and a few knows about this, social businesses. Knowledge about how to do this and why it's good. Like many times you buy 2 things and you pay for one. And there are many procurers in the municipality, so everyone needs more and more needs to know about it. And the courage. The law is changing all the time, so when you're trying something new, you don't know, can I do this? Is it okay? Is it okay with the law? And also you have to change the routines, and it needs to be made, top down. There are new laws coming, and many times they haven't been tested, and the lawyers in the municipality usually they have to look at so many different laws all the time, so it's easier for them to say no, we shouldn't do this, than to try. But then we have help from it's an organization for all the municipalities in Sweden, and their lawyers are more specialized, so they can answer questions about this. But we see that large reserved contracts are questioned by traditional companies because they want to earn money on the contracts, and they can't if it's a reserved contract. So actually, there's a case in court right now that has made colleagues of mine to stop for the moment. But it's a really big contract. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Jon. Very interesting also this presentation from the municipality perspective. So thank you so much all, Lucas, Cecilia, Tiia, Ia, and Jon for sharing with us your experiences and also the challenges you are meeting, and also, what you raised here in your speeches. Now the participants, us, will have the possibilities to discuss what you have heard and from your own experience, and also to be able to give us your input from and suggestions of your own. And Susanne from Vinderå, from the organization Companion, who support cooperatives and also is a partner in the project MERSE, will take over the floor or the screen. So please, Susanne.
Thank you, Yvonne, and thank you everybody that has contributed to this. It's been very interesting and inspiring. Now we have created 10 rooms, and we were thinking that you would like to speak your own language, and we have about 15 minutes to do that. And we are going to open the rooms, and then you can choose from, for instance, Ireland 1 or Ireland 2. And this can be really confusing, but if you choose the one, Ireland 1, and it's too many people, you can come back and choose the Ireland 2 and see how that goes. Because we had hundreds of people that we were expecting, so we were a little bit worried. So start with your country and number 1, and if it's not possible to speak there. And we also created a folder on Drive, and I put the link now. If you click on that link, you will come to a folder, and you see the names of the groups there. And we would like you to take notes on this discussion. And you have one question, and you can think about what you've heard, but you also can contribute to what you know or think or believe in that. So, and it's open for everyone with the link and the possibility to write, to take notes. And remember that it's better to have the camera on when you're in the breakout rooms. So perhaps you will not have the time to present yourselves, but feel free to go out and come back if you have any troubles.
And then, Susanne, we're going to meet again in this plenum,
Yes.
and before we finish this conference.
So you have the opportunity to address something that came up in the room if you have something to share. But we would like you to make some notes in your own language. We have AI now, so we can translate it later. Okay?
And the question is?
Aha. Yeah, the question is the headline for this. It's in the document that you are going to open. The question is what is needed to make it easier to start and develop sustainable social enterprises in rural areas. Any questions about this? Have you found it? Have you got any invites here?
It's
Yes.
in the chat, isn't it? The drive.
Yeah, but I've opened the rooms for the breakout sessions. So no. Okay, I will, those left, I will, would like to ask you if you have something that you want to pinpoint. We have been sneaking around in your documents, so we've seen that you have written some things. But is there anyone that wants to highlight something that we haven't, maybe to surprise us, or just to confirm what has been said? Finland, do you have anything more? We go quickly to Iceland. Do you have anything more that you would like to talk about what you did in the rooms? Some secret.
We were kind of just getting started because we had to start with definitions and introductions. So
Yes,
because I think what we sense is that Iceland might be like the least developed in the sense of having a framework for social enterprises. So,
or maybe you don't define what you do as a support for social
exactly. We
talked about exactly that. Yes,
because you do that, we know that. Yeah, Finland. Back to Finland. Eva.
Oh, hi. Sorry, I had some technical difficulties. I think we were really happy in our group as we had two kind of entrepreneurs. So that was really good. So we got kind of like the feedback straight from the grassroots level. Obviously, I think the first was funding, that it's really hard to get external funding and help with the projects, kind of like where to find which instrument to use. And we also discussed that there is a project that got funding, and the entrepreneur had also applied for similar funding a few years ago, but it wasn't possible. So kind of, but also that some support for kind of the business development, like bookkeeping, financial planning, and then also help to find buyers and kind of extend the business. So that kind of help they would need. So those were kind of the things we were talking mainly.
Thank you. And let's go to Ireland. Just one room.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, I'm Breed. It's nice to meet you all. We got through quite a bit in our breakout room. We talked about the need for a stronger understanding of the key partners and functions within the sector. Easier to kind of define who the key points of contact are, understanding the key players in the sector, and more cohesion within the sector also, as it is quite complex. We spoke about procurement, updating government procurement policy. Kira actually gave us a quick update there on what green and social clauses will look like coming down the road. We talked about capital funding, need for startup costs and working capital. We talked about the challenges of rural isolation and the need to connect with others. We also talked about volunteering. The numbers of volunteers is dropping, and we have a huge number of volunteers who are involved in the social enterprise sector. There was also kind of some of the really good things about rural areas, the mix of skill sets and how much different skill sets can be in an area. And points of contact, I suppose this kind of relates to cohesion in the sector and acknowledging who those key points of contact are.
Okay, thank you. And let's go to Norway.
Yes. We talked about what has been brought up already in terms of rules and regulation to have our own organizational form, better societal understanding of the terms of social entrepreneurship, what it is. As well, we talked about that it would be perhaps an idea to have a training course for the municipalities and the public sector as well, because they have it in their strategy plans to support better for social enterprises, but as they don't know what it is. To get a sort of common societal understanding of what we put into social entrepreneurship. That's a good start. We also talked about we should better document the effects of the enterprises. I don't know if Carl is still here, but he talked about that will create some sort of competitional feeling as well, see what the enterprises can contribute to, as well that it's better to, it's a sales pitch, isn't it, to show our social values and what kind of effect it has as well. Yeah, more collaboration, more knowledge, better support systems.
I'm sorry, Sara, but I think we have to go to Sweden now.
Yes,
so we can,
I'm done.
Yeah, thank you. So we go to Sweden 1, and now we have to rush it again. I treat you worse than the others. Sorry.
Are we Sweden 1?
No, you're Sweden 2.
Okay.
Sweden 1 is Cecilia, Emily, Paul, Sven, and Thomas. I address Paul because I haven't talked to you before. Did you discuss any interesting thing in the group?
Hello. Yeah, we did. I was not supposed to say something here, but okay. We were talking. I was myself was mentioning the lack of the social economy action plan and or that the government has been saying yes to stand behind the council recommendation, but then there is no action according to that. And there is so much in the recommendations that should help the social economy and social entrepreneurs also in rural areas. So I really think that should be a really good thing that we could continue to work on to try to get the government to start to react and into this. Yeah.
And you're talking about the European Union Action Plan for Social Economy, and that the countries has agreed on to make their own national action plans. Yes.
Correct. Yeah.
Thank you. And then we go to Sweden 2. And that's Jon and Kerstin Ulla.
Shall I take it? We talked about networks, the importance of be engaged in networks, both on high level politics, government, and also in local networks, not to do things for people. We need networks that do things together
with people.
With people.
And we've been spying on you, so we know that you have been writing things in your own language. So we have to rely on AI in that matter. And now I thank you very much for good work and collaboration, and I leave back to Yvonne. Thank you.
Yeah, we from the project MERSE would like to thank you all for participating in this short conference. I will say to finish that we are going now, as Kerstin were talking about, to work with more networking. And we are so pleased that you are so interested in this area, because now we have your names, and we will work with webinars with you all and others during next year in different constellations. And it's good ideas and that you have brought up now in your discussions. And we will discuss this, and we will also try to organize around those needs and the challenges, but also possibilities that you see in social enterprising in the Northern Peripheral and Arctic areas, the regions that we are in. So thank you so much for joining this conference, and also for your input to the conference, all of you. And we will wish you a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year in due time. So thank you so much to you all. Bye-bye. And please go into our website to have a closer look. Thanks.